So, hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. A special warm welcome if you are brand new here and this is the first video of mine that you're checking out. I do hope you enjoy it and you stick around. I am KiwiSimsKate, Kiwi because I'm from little old New Zealand, Sims because I love the Sims, and Kate because that's my name. It's as simple as that. And today's speed build is a little, I guess, late, seeing as the pack came out a couple of weeks ago now, but things move very quickly in the Sims universe. Since building this, we've already had another pack announcement and trailer. We are getting The Sims 4 High School Years, and I am so pumped for this. But let's just put that conversation on pause because not too long ago, it does feel like a long time ago now, but we got a new game pack, which was The Sims 4 Werewolves. And I am not really that big of an occult player in The Sims. And in fact, over on our Twitch page where I stream live, mostly the Sims 4 content, we did a Creator Sim stream a couple of weeks ago when the pack first came out, and I realized that was creating a werewolf then was the very, very first occult I think I have ever created in The Sims 4. I couldn't believe it. Like, it's wild just to think that. Like, I know I don't play with occults, but to never have created an occult sim before. So it's going to be my challenge to myself to create a sim of every type of occult that's in the game currently. But I started off with a werewolf, and yeah, you can follow me on Twitch if you want to see more of that kind of content. But today I am bringing you a speed build, not create a sim, but the build is using a lot of items from the new Werewolves pack, and it's also just inspired by the world that we got with the game pack, which is Moonwood Mill. And I always almost screw up saying that. I feel like it's a real tongue twister, but it's, yeah, Moonwood Mill, and it's this kind of old, grungy, sort of rundown mill town, and we didn't get a lot of lots in this world, which is always disappointing. But what we got is great, in my opinion. I really like it. I love the look of the world. It's kind of got a Granite Falls vibe to it. A lot of sort of pines, evergreens. It's, yeah, very foresty vibe, but also very grungy. So as the name suggests, it's an old mill town, and yeah, the lots that you get in the world reflect that. So I wanted to create a small cabin in the woods style home for a lone wolf, but there is a double bed in here, so you could easily fit 2 Sims in this cabin if you wanted. And I actually created it with a werewolf sim in mind, but you know, you don't have to play with a werewolf with this home. And it has 1 bedroom, it has 1 bathroom, which is actually only accessible through the bedroom, living room, and a kitchen with the dining area in it, and a sort of a kind of a hallway area that has a desk to work at as well. I don't know if your werewolf has a job, but I pretty much completed the exterior of the kind of cabin look that I wanted. I wanted a very makeshift look house, something that looked like it was a little bit run down, but that it was still inhabited, so I didn't want it to look abandoned. And I put 2 sort of long porches in the front and the back of the build, and I also I do quite a bit of landscaping on this. I also include a little pond. Yeah, so I tried to use a lot of items from the Werewolves pack. I don't think I used everything that came with the pack, but I definitely tried to use most items at least, I do go through and filter a few times by the pack itself and try and include as many things as possible. Also, the debug and live edit objects from this pack are amazing, and they fit the world perfectly, obviously, so I use a lot of those items as well. I actually get halfway through the build and realize that none of the debug and live edit objects were showing up for me, and I do use a mod by Twisted Mexi that's called Better Build By mod. And the Better Build By mod allows you to organize your debug and live edit object menu so that it just makes a lot more sense than how it does in the game. And you can search by pack and all of that kind of thing. And it just, yeah, it's honestly a lifesaver, and I don't know how I would build without it. It's really great. So yeah, a lot of those kinds of items as well that came with the new pack are really awesome. This is me creating the little pond in the front here. I sort of go back and forth with my builds as to whether I do the landscaping first or the interior decorating. And with this build, I knew I wanted it to be pretty simple and small inside, so I just figured out the floor plan, and then when I was happy with the floor plan, I go back outside and I do most of the landscaping, and I do the interior of the house last, I believe. So yeah, this is me kind of making a start on what the kind of garden area looks like. I didn't want it to look too run down and messy, but I also didn't want it to look too manicured, so I tried to get something in between. You'll see that the pond's got a lot of reeds growing in it, just sort of watery plants around, and the water I used is the one with kind of all the falling leaves. I used a lot of the items from Cottage Living in here as well. I think that quite a few of the Cottage Living items go really well with the Werewolves pack. I think I used some windows from that pack, and yeah, a number of different things. The two styles go quite well together. We got these new little window boxes, which I'm really happy that we got new window boxes because I often use them in my builds, and I don't know, it's just nice to get some fresh ones every now and then. They're definitely not my favourite. I do like the other window boxes better, but it's nice to have a little bit of variety for different types of builds. And then just adding a few more decorations to the exterior of the house to make it a bit more realistic looking. Some sort of supports underneath the eaves, that kind of thing. I really love the what are they called? Beams? Columns. The columns, that's what they're called. I love the columns that came with this pack. They are not entirely straight. I really love that they're sort of a bit curved and bent out of shape, and all of the swatches are amazing. All of the swatches for this pack, all of the new items that we got, there's some really great worn in swatches, so things with some scratches and where the paint is kind of wearing off. I love it. I think it's a really cool aesthetic, and it works, again, as I said, really well with the Cottage Living pack. You can see me using a lot of the Cottage Living debug as well in the yard. I thought, I didn't really know what sort of barn or cabin this was, but I thought it had been here a long time and maybe had been abandoned for a while until whoever now lives here didn't really do it up, because it still looks a bit crap, but they've breathed a little bit more life into it. So they're not really that big on gardening. As you can see, the landscaping is pretty rough and a bit haphazard. There's sort of overgrown tufts of grass everywhere. There's fallen down tree stumps and dirt mounds and yeah, a lot of things that need some tidying up if you, if you really wanted this to look a bit cleaner. The other items that I really love that we got with this pack are those like piles of debris and rubbish. Oh, they're so good. I love how realistic they look. And yeah, anything to make the game feel really, I don't know, really well used. I get excited about. There were those. I just placed those. That pile of logs as well. I loved that, and the pile of sort of the plank, like the wood planks, as if they and I paired that with the wooden fence from the debug menu that's kind of half falling apart, and there are pieces that are still fine, and then there are other pieces that have fallen. Maybe the nails have got rusty, and I don't know. So yeah, I placed the pile of wooden planks beside it as if maybe they like have the idea one day they're going to fix the fence, but they have never got around to it. And then the backyard, I also clutter up with all sorts of items to make it really lived in. The sim that lives here, they are not really worried so much about what their house looks like. They're not particularly proud homeowners. They just need somewhere to sleep, something that's practical. And I used a couple of the new items out the back here, like the bonfire pit, which I love because it's made of kind of old household objects. So there's I think there's an old chair that's been turned upside down and other bits and pieces. And then of course the telescope, which we got two new telescopes when the Werewolves pack came out. We had an update to the base game where we got a base game telescope. So this is obviously a normal sized telescope as opposed to the monstrosity that we have had in the past, that weird giant thing that I think you can woohoo in it, right? In the big telescope. Anyway, there's a normal, regular sized telescope now for base game. And then if you did get the Werewolves pack, there is another one, also normal sized, but it's got a little bit more detail to it. The swatches, obviously, they match, or they work well with the other Werewolves items that we got. Then I move on to the interior here. I wanted to mix and match a lot of colours and a lot of swatches, and yeah, again, make it look like whoever lives here is not necessarily that bothered about the way the house looks. They just need a place to sleep, a place to eat, and a place to clean themselves. That's really all they want. They're just about practicalities. They're not really that keen on cleaning so much. And I also used this floor that we got with the Werewolves pack. I love it. It's so worn in. It's like I think it's in the tile menu. And it has a number of little squares where it looks like the tile has ripped off, or maybe it's supposed to be a linoleum, actually. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's falling apart, and I love it. And then I also put this window that doesn't have glass in it. It's just sort of an empty window space, looking from the kitchen through to the sort of hallway area, just because I wanted to use as many things as possible. And the other thing I used in the kitchen here was a little table and chairs that we got with the other new item, or other new stuff we got recently, which was one of the kits. I feel like we've had a lot of new stuff in the last few months. It's a little bit overwhelming. But just before Werewolves, we got a new kit called the backyard. No, I can't remember. But it's the kid one. The one for children where there's all the cute backyard hangout items like the sheet projector, film projector thingy, and this table and chairs. And again, that also I thought went really well with the werewolves and the sort of mismatch. Looks like maybe it was made by someone who lives here. And other than that, the kitchen is more or less finished. I just add a couple more decorations, some postcards, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. We got a great rug with this pack as well, and it came in two different. So we actually got two rugs. I think we got at least two rugs. We got a rug that I use throughout this house. And it's really, really worn in. The swatches are beautiful. Like you can see where it's just it looks really old and there are kind of tears along the side. But then we got the same rug in a version that isn't worn in. So if you still like the rug and the designs and stuff that are on them, but you don't want it to look like it's falling apart, then you have the option of that as well. After the kitchen, I move on to the living area. I put a nice big cottage living fireplace in here. I use the rug again. And then, as I was saying, I try and use as many werewolves items as possible. So there's the sofa. There's the like reclining chair, which I haven't used in game, and I'm wondering if it actually reclines. My guess is no, because that sounds like it would be a difficult animation for them to do. But yeah, I'm not too sure now, because they did give us the rocking chairs animation, but I think that's going to have to be something I try. Otherwise, if you do know, please let me know down below in the comments. And then it won't be a mystery to me anymore. I try and clutter up the fireplace half, but I couldn't find enough decorations I really wanted on there, so it's kind of plain, but I did use a few things from the werewolves pack. I used this debug TV, which I think is so cute. I used a werewolves art piece, which has, it's like they're all vampire swatches, but they've got like scratches down them, which is so cool. I love that detail. And then I also go through and I put in a bunch of cracks down the walls and scratches and other small details. I used the vampires spider webs as well in a lot of the corners of the house. I don't think this sim is really into cleaning, so I wanted it to look pretty grungy, pretty pretty dirty. It's just as I said, it's just a very practical house, and they're not not really into cleaning, I think. I really wanted to use this shelf unit, this wall shelf unit that we got with werewolves, but it's huge. I don't know why they made that object so weirdly big. And so I had to take it out because it just looks silly. And I think it would look silly in most homes. I don't know why they made that so big. It's very weird. I can't imagine using it in a build, but hopefully in something, there'll be something I can use it in. The other things I used in the living room were that little tire seat, some debug clutter to place the TV on. I think that was actually from Journey to Batu, that stuff, which also works well. So that's another pack that I think the werewolves kind of really fits together well with. And then you would have just seen me do the little, I guess it's not really an office, it's just a desk space. The werewolf that I was talking about at the beginning that I created on stream, that werewolf was actually a teen wolf. So I kind of created this house for her. and that's why there's a desk there. I thought she would come home and do her homework, you know, on the days that she felt like doing her homework, which may not be all the time. And then I move on to her bedroom. So the bedroom, again, has lots of scratches on the walls, and it's not particularly, you know, clean or tidy. The suitcase object that we got is very cool. And I also put a punching bag in the bedroom. I thought that, you know, as a werewolf, probably want to let off a bunch of steam, so that kind of activity could be good. And then, of course, the amazing rug that I've just been singing its praises. For the bed as well, I used the object that's actually a kitchen cutting board. It's kind of a wall object, I suppose, because it snaps to a wall. But I sized it up and used 2 of them as kind of a bed headboard because it has the scratches on it, so I thought it sort of might fit. And then there's a small bathroom adjacent to the bedroom as well. I put in some off-the-grid items in here, so I think actually there's quite a few off-the-grid items, so this could potentially be made into an off-the-grid lot. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure because I don't really use that in my gameplay a lot, but there's the off-the-grid toilet, sink and bathtub / shower here, which would all work off the grid. I'm pretty positive about that. And then the wall mirror that we got with werewolves. We got 2 mirrors, and one is gorgeous. It's a circular one with like a crescent moon. I loved it, but I didn't really think that it fit well in this build. So I used this long one with the cracks in it, which I loved as well. Oh, I also really liked adding in that front door mat that says, it's got a little picture of a cat with a cross through it. So cats are not welcome here, I'm afraid. Dogs only. Dogs and werewolves only. And then I go back to the bathroom, add in a bunch of things so it looks a little bit grimy and yuck and not very clean, adding in more details of scratches, and I move around to the back porch. But then I go back inside and do the entry area. Oh, I did use the crescent moon. Okay, so I used this in the front area. It's been a little while since I've built this, but there should be some screenshots coming up shortly, and if you want to download this build you can find it under my EA Gallery ID, KiwiSimsKate. If you did enjoy this build, please do give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, it really does support the channel. And you can follow me live twice a week over on twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate. If you want to follow me over on my socials, it is Twitter and Instagram at KiwiSimsKate. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care out there. Bye.